If you're overthinking, you are chronically underfeeling. And the reason for that is because you most likely feel a lot. Maybe you're a little bit like me. And as someone that used to be a chronic overthinker, what I started to realize when I started to introduce somatic work into my healing modality was that there's a lot of things that my body was communicating with me that I was totally disconnected from. And that's because I stayed in my mind, in my thinking brain. One, because I didn't feel safe to feel things in my body. Two, because I also didn't really have the skills or capacity to do that. And then three, thinking allowed me to feel like I was in control. Feeling is something that you actually cannot control, because feelings going through your body, through your nervous system, they just need to be felt, and they scream to be felt for however long they need to be felt. And when you've gone a really long time with avoiding feeling your feelings, it's almost like if you open the door a little bit, it's like the floodgate, like the flood just comes in. And that's what it can feel like, which is why it's really important to do it, in like a slower pace, in a way where you're building your capacity and you're feeling at the same time, right? And as an overthinker, you also imagine that, you know what, if I can just get to this point where things don't bother me so much, then I will feel safer to just drop into my body and experience the things that need to be experienced. But actually, it all happens simultaneously. When you are thinking something, it does initiate a feeling in your body. And the idea is you want to connect to that feeling in your body. Actually, your body will tell you first before your mind even catches up. But, the idea is feel it in your body when you feel it coming up. And as scary as it can feel, the initial times, it will likely be overwhelming. But that doesn't mean that it's impossible. And I also feel like that's not a reason to not feel it or to avoid it. It is very important, though, that you do it in layers, because you're a layered being. And again, especially if you've been overthinking a lot, over strategizing, and living in survival, you haven't been given the tools or the capacity to really sit with your feelings in your body, okay? And I want to say it's really important too, for overthinkers, it is more than likely that being still, and being still, I don't mean like being at home watching TV or whatever it is, like being still without any distractions, just being with your mind and with your body can feel threatening to your nervous system, okay? Especially if, again, overthinker, if you're always on the go, if you're always figuring it out, those are like the, some of the characteristics of survival mode. If that has been your MO, slowing down in any way feels overwhelming. So what you're gonna have to do is start to build safety within your own nervous system, that you are okay. And what does this look like? For me, it looks like speaking to myself quite often, right? And something that I do is I noticed that I felt a lot here in my chest. There's a lot of tightness. There's a lot of like heaviness. And I actually also felt like I didn't take full breaths for a long period in my life. And I started to notice that my breathing felt restricted, but that was the way that I was breathing regularly before. And so when I started dropping into my body, for example, if something is happening, noticing, where do I feel it? Is it in my stomach? Is it in my legs? Is it in my arms? Is it in my hands? Is it in my chest? And feeling things in my chest, I would sometimes just put my hand here and I would put some pressure and just do that. Just put some pressure. Add some facilitate the movement of it all. Something else that I do when I'm feeling something in my chest, is I'll tap my chest and I'll just repeat some words, whatever it is that I need. And it's very important that when you start building these practices, you know what you need. Your body always knows what it needs. Your nervous system knows what it needs. You hold such incredibly innate wisdom within you. And when you're in survival mode, it is something that you are disconnected from, and it is something that you can forget, but is not something that is taken from you. And so the work comes in reconnecting with yourself and remembering who you are, remembering what you need, and also being open to just doing the things that your body will call you to do. So I will tap my chest, and let's say, for example, if I'm feeling like really nervous or anxious about something, or if I'm afraid of something, I will tell myself that I'm okay. I'm okay, I am safe, I am loved. Regardless of the situation, I have my back. I am okay. And till this day, that is something that I do. I'm constantly tapping my chest for things. I rub my chest. I also give myself a hug. One arm in my armpit here, and this other hand that's holding my phone, I would put up here, and I would just hug myself. And I would then also say more affirming things. It's about building the practice of soothing yourself. Whereas before, if things were uncomfortable, you would look maybe externally to soothe yourself. Whether it's with people, whether it's with parties, whether it's with watching shows, or just like avoiding completely, right? And the thing is, the feeling doesn't ever really go away. When you don't process something, when an emotion doesn't have the opportunity to fully be processed within your body, it stays stored in your body. And that's where we start to build a lot of tension and aches and pains and stiffness and all of these things. It doesn't go anywhere. You can avoid it, right? You can ignore it, but it stays. Your body stores it. And that's the part where when you're leaving your overthinking mind into dropping into your body, it feels like, oh my gosh, there's gonna be a lot to come up. And yeah, there might be, but also you're building the practice of telling yourself that you can do it. And it's really important too, or what I really like is that you can start doing this on very micro ways daily, right? It's not that we're gonna go to the deepest, darkest, heaviest, scariest, most heartbreaking moment and then feel it. It's in the little things that come up during the day, because things come up all the time, right? So yeah, just building those little things. And it's really about having that awareness of when you're thinking something, just take a beat, take a breath, and just sit with yourself or stand there and notice, what do you feel in your body? What do you feel in your body? Where is the tension? Where is that tightness? Where, is your stomach queasy? Is your head hurting? Just start to notice where your body is signaling certain things. You don't even have to understand the why or the reason it's there. Just connecting your mind to what your body is trying to say is a great place to start. And then from there, you can start to incorporate the practices of tapping your chest if you feel it in your chest, of giving yourself a hug. And there's also so many other tools that you can implement, which is what I teach my clients in the return program that I have that follows my identity alchemy method. So